So we take a 1-0 lead into Hampden from Thursday's play-off match with Greece, of course. As I said in my match review for it, it was, of course, a game of two halves, absolutely. But you'd hope with the home crowd, we'll be able to be a bit more on the front foot. Although if we put in a defensive display like we did against Greece, then potentially that won't matter. Although I wouldn't want to have a full 90 minutes like the second half the other night, because that was not a great watch, not just because it's not great when your team's getting absolutely battered, but not a great watch in terms of thinking, oh my God, a goal's coming here. It's any minute now for it. So I'm here to try and predict the starting 11 and the result for tomorrow's game at Hampden Park. First of all, thanks to all the new viewers and subscribers. Actually, that last match review for the game is my most viewed video on the channel and still growing. So thank you very much for that. If you'd like to check out the other content on the channel, like gameplays, prediction videos for other matches, and of course the SPFL RTG as well, that would be greatly appreciated. But on to the predictions. So starting 11 wise, he did keep the back four to begin with against Greece, of course. On reflection though, we ended the game with what could only be described as a back six, and he had some comments about Kieran Tierney after the game as well and why he didn't start. Simply put, because Andy Robertson was on a booking, he didn't want to risk Robertson picking up a booking and then Tierney getting a wee knock or an injury or something like that, and then having nobody available to play that left-back role if he chose to play the back four. Also, keeping in mind that Tierney hasn't played all that many minutes for Arsenal as well. However, that hasn't stopped him in the past, but hey-ho. So the question is, will he keep with the back four or revert to the back five? I honestly think that it might be a bit of a boring starting 11 prediction. However, without any injuries, I think that the same starting 11 that started against Greece will start the match at Hampden Park. With the exception of potentially Kieran Tierney in for Grant Hanley, although Grant Hanley did have a pretty good game. I think most people would prefer Grant Hanley to drop out for Kieran Tierney in that respect. And then a lot of people would have liked Max Johnson to get a run out as well. But I thought Anthony Ralston played extremely well, actually. So I don't think he's warranted getting dropped by any means. So we'll see. Fitness dependent, I think the exact same team that started against Greece on Thursday will start the match at Hampden Park. In terms of the result, it's an interesting one because obviously it's not a one-off game where you have to go for the win if you're looking for 3 points and stuff. You have picked up a good result away from home, meaning that you don't need to force the issue. I expect Greece to play very similarly to they did in the second half, where they're coming out in waves and waves of attack. We might be able to catch Greece on the counter-attack if that's the case. It's a shame that the likes of Ben Doak is missing, given that he would have been really good on the counter. As well as the likes of Ryan Gauld as well. To be fair, I was saying, thinking about it now, Ryan Christie is available for this game, so he could potentially come in. He was obviously suspended for the previous game, so that might be a slight change to the starting 11 that he makes, along with Kieran Tierney potentially as well. But result-wise, it's difficult to call, but I'm going to go for another 1-0 win for Scotland in this case. I think the Hampden crowd won't tolerate any sort of battering that the second half entailed, and that will motivate the players to kind of get on the front foot a little bit more, and I think Scotland will remain in Nations League A. I did think we would remain in Nations League A anyway. We had to lay down the marker for the World Cup qualifiers, and of course the other game that will be of interest to Scotland will be the second leg of the Denmark-Portugal game, because of course whoever comes away the loser of that tie will be in Scotland's World Cup qualifier group. Again, on paper, we would probably much rather it was Denmark than Portugal. However, Denmark did seem to win the game extremely comfortably the other night. They, of course, won 1-0 and missed a penalty, and it looked as though Portugal only had a couple of efforts on goal in the end as well. Unfortunately for the SPFL RTG, Kasper Schmeichel, although keeping a clean sheet, didn't have a lot to do. So if Denmark do keep another clean sheet, hopefully gets a big performance. And then same with Craig Gordon for this one for potential informs from the international break. Those of you that watch the RTG will know that Jack Butland's inform is just not doing it for me anymore. Never did it for me in the first place, to be fair. But yeah, 1-0 Scotland. I think if there's any changes to the starting 11, it will be Christie in and Tierney in. But other than that, I actually expect the starting 11 to remain the same, to be fair, and hopefully the result to reflect the same as well. If you are new around here, please like and subscribe. I am going to upload another walkthrough episode of Sonic Adventure 2 Battle today. I will also be doing some evolutions and playing some champs games for the SPFL RTG, and I'm going to actually upload some highlights of the SPFL RTG champs games this week. Probably just some goals and stuff like that while I talk over it about the team, and I want to actually talk about promos as well, because obviously Bajrami got they're calling it Dream Chasers, but it's Road to the Final, isn't it? Thanks again for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.